The WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code NBA SGPN. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no voice, no guys, me. Really, Terrell, Furman Jr. here at your service. All right, Scott, I got it done last time out. Swept the board. Where's she at? Play the drop. Yep. Beautiful sound of just, it sounds like that person's sweeping like some kind of steps. It feels like, or like, I feel like it's like a step, maybe a stoop, something like that. But beautiful sound there because the Atlanta Dream got it done. Never in doubt. Get the win over our New York Liberty. And then my Valkyries. Plus 170 in the first half on the money line. Thank you. Appreciate it. Never in doubt there. I have to tell people, I might have the Valkyries a tier too low. I think I'm down on them. I really do. I still have them in the third tier of a fringe playoff team. Maybe not. But they can beat the four teams in the tier above them. Maybe they need to jump one more. Just maybe. Because that Valkyries team is really good. Shout out to Hayes for finally getting that 20-point game that I was looking for. It's nice to be here, Reichel. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, I got a new microphone, so that's something new. I think it sounds pretty good. I can't really tell, but nobody's complaining about buzzing, so that counts as a step in the right direction, I guess. But can't complain. I've been busy watching some tennis because Wimbledon's going on. I'm going to ask you quick trivia question. Do you know which surface Wimbledon is played on?
Grass.
That is correct. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
There you go.
So I was having a debate in my head about if it was grass or if it was just a green color and it was a hard surface. I didn't know which one it was, but I went with my gut instinct and said grass because when I hear Wimbledon, I just think white and grass.
Yeah, it is grass. So well done.
Does everybody still wear white?
Yes. It's the very pretentious royal family one in London.
Okay. Yeah, because I heard that, people had said, oh, well, everybody wears white to Wimbledon. And I always wondered, well, what if I didn't wear white? Would somebody be upset? Like, would they not let me play because I didn't wear white? Like, what if I chose not to wear white?
They would riot.
I feel like there would probably be like a really, really loud like outrage. Like people would really, really be upset about it. And I really doesn't think it matters that much. It's a color. It'd be like Tiger Woods. When Tiger Woods wears red the final day, like what if I just wanted to come out wearing red? Like,
that actually did happen. That happened a couple of years ago where you ever hear of the guy Nick Kyrgios? That name sound familiar to you at all?
Yeah, it does actually.
Okay, so he's viewed as like the bad boy of tennis who like doesn't really have the right attitude, quote unquote. So he was in the championship match of Wimbledon, and he lost the match. The match was over, and he puts on a red hat, and people lost their mind. And I'm like, really? After the match is over, you're mad that he puts on a red hat? Okay, sure. So that was the controversy that happened.
Yeah, they'd be mad at me, the guy in the all-white party that's not wearing all white. Be really.
I've never been invited to the Rubin party, so I can't say that I saw you there.
There's not other white parties.
Well, I'm going to ask, though, because I never actually thought about it until now. I don't know how old Rubin is. Is the white chicks white party based off Rubin? Or is that just a pure coincidence?
No, I think that's just a coincidence.
Pure coincidence?
I will admit, I have never seen White Chicks.
Really? That's a classic.
I just didn't feel comfortable watching the movie. I mean, it didn't resonate with me. I will say that. There's a lot of people on both demographics, Scott, that love that movie, and it just didn't resonate with me, and I just couldn't get through it. I couldn't get through it.
So, which part of it bothered you? Was it the acting like a woman, or was it dressing up like a white woman? Because you could argue that's the Wayans brothers' like most famous movie, right or wrong. That's one of their most famous movies.
Yeah, I think it is one of their most famous movies, and it didn't hit with me. And this feels like the conversation. I don't know if you saw that episode of Family Guy where they're like about to drown in the safe, and
it insists upon itself.
Yes, I feel like it insists upon itself. Like I feel like it insists upon itself. I don't know how to explain it. It's just it's very annoying. No, I've never seen the movie.
I mean, I can't believe you have not at least tried to sit through that movie.
Nope. I haven't been interested. Like
that's kind of wild to be.
It comes on like it'd be on like BT, MTV, all that stuff, and I'll look at it and I'll be like, do I really want to watch this? No, and I'll just turn to something else. And it's crazy. I just had this conversation with somebody else about white chicks, literally about white chicks, and I had to explain to them I just never saw it, and I just never felt that I'm gonna sit down and watch it eventually.
Yeah, see, Jam, that's kind of the thing though. Is I thought about Scary Movie, but saying that it's their most famous movie. It's tricky because there are multiple main characters, and Anna Faris, the white girl, is the most like important character in that movie. You have both brothers in there, and they are solid and funny in the movie. But I feel like White Chicks is different because they are clearly the main characters. So it's kind of their movie because they carry it. For Scary Movie, they are two of the main four characters basically. And they're just in the entire event. Now, I know that from an actual ownership and directive perspective, it might be their most famous movie. But they starred and directed it. So I think that would be their most famous movie, if I had to say the two of them. They're both classics. And
I mean, it's clearly a famous movie because I'm talking about it and I've never seen it. But
yeah. I can't believe you've never witnessed Terry Crews.
I mean, I have witnessed Terry Crews, just not in any other, like not. No,
there's like one scene which I think people recognize Terry Crews for solely from that movie.
Oh, see, if there's a Terry Crews scene about the movie, that I've never seen that scene. Never seen it.
So what do you know Terry Crews from? From like Longest Yard and Everybody Eats Chris?
Yeah, and a lot of other stuff, but like pretty much, I think the only scene from White Chicks that I know is White Chicks the one where they got the TikTok sound where it's like. Perhaps a salad for the ladies.
Yes, like, perhaps not.
Yeah, perhaps
not.
So that's the only part of the movie I've seen. I've never seen the movie. I haven't been interested, and
that's a classic.
I know it is. But I feel like everybody has those classics that they just never seen, and I just haven't gotten around to it.
Have you at least seen Scary Movie? There were a bunch of parodies. The first one,
a whole bunch. Like it's so many different ones. I don't know which one is the one I've seen. I would love to sit here and say I've seen those.
The first one imitates the Scream villain, the one with the ghost face.
Okay.
So that's like the villain in the Scary Movie, if that helps.
Okay. And is that the one where like she's running across the ceiling or something like that? I don't know. I've seen one of them. I just don't know which one to tell you which one I've seen. And maybe that means that I haven't seen them because I can't tell you exactly which one I've seen. But like
you're too busy watching The Sopranos. It's not your fault. But I do want to ask, by the way, just to actually bring up a question in the comment section. Somebody doesn't really understand the difference between the Commissioner's Cup and what's actually happening later on. So just to explain, the Commissioner's Cup is basically the in-season tournament of the NBA. This came first, but still. So this is the championship game. So this game statistically means absolutely nothing.
It's not an official game.
But the winning team makes what, $500,000?
Yep.
So you get money. But remember how the Bucks beat the Thunder in the in-season tournament and nobody cared? That's basically this. But the money actually matters more because their contracts are significantly less than NBA players. So there you go. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, very much so. There's actually a clip of, I want to see if I can pull it up, of Courtney Williams. And she's basically, they asked her, like, how does she feel about winning the Commissioner's Cup title? And she was straight up, yeah, I don't care about the title at all. I just want that bag. Like, I want the bag that come with it because you split $500,000 up between all the women and it means a lot. Like, it's a lot of chunk of change, especially for the people towards the back end of the bench, too. So, like, yeah, very important. It just doesn't count for the season win total. So, like, the Fever are 8-8 before this game. If the Fever lose, they're still going to be 8-8. Like, this doesn't count. And so, like, that's where the stats don't count. Like, that's where things get murky here. But all the games prior to in the Commissioner Cup counted, but the championship game doesn't count. And I think that's something different that the WNBA does different than the NBA, Scott, because I'm pretty sure the championship game did actually count for the men's. They just added more games so that everybody else had an offsetting game. But, like, I'm pretty sure they made that game count, but this game legitimately does not count at all towards the 40 games. So the Fever and the Minnesota Lynx are playing 41 games this season. Just to throw it out there.
Okay.
Real quick, before we get to actually talking about the Commissioner's Cup, do have to play this. Scott, the Washington Mystics are engaged in potential trade conversations around Aaliyah Edwards.
Okay. I mean, she deserves better. They don't play her. So.
Yeah. And you know what? I really felt like there would be a better rotation of bigs if it went some order of Shakira, Kiki, Aaliyah.
The problem is Kiki was so good off the rip that they kind of ran out of a place to put her.
And it was like she got hurt. If she didn't get hurt in the, camp, which made her out for the beginning part of the season, Aaliyah probably finds her footing in this team, and maybe Aaliyah stays. But they're like, we're kind of figuring this thing out, and they have some kind of blind loyalty to Steph Dolson that I really don't understand. So it's funny because we also had more breaking news over the weekend. The Las Vegas Aces did go trade for NaLyssa Smith, traded a 2027 first round pick. This probably would have been somebody that would have been on their radar for a first round pick, Aaliyah Edwards, if she was available, but it seems like now she's available. So we'll see.
Do you think NaLyssa's worth a first round pick? I know that it's different for the W because the Aces are usually in the back end of the draft, and this is a couple years down the road. Mm-hmm. Is she worth a first round pick? Because NaLyssa has been in multiple, I'd say, environments over the last year or so, and it feels like either she's never happy or the team's never happy. I'm kind of surprised she went for a first.
I think that once she was happy in Dallas, and I think that it just wasn't working.
That's what I'm saying.
They wanted to get bigger. Like, she was a little bit smaller of a big, and so they wanted to get bigger and have an actual center in the game rather than two forwards. And so,
I just don't know if Dallas had any leverage. The team sucked. Clearly wasn't working out with her there.
Yeah, and they wanted to get more picks.
Out of it.
They wanted to get more picks, and they wanted to buy into the youth movement. And this proved to me that this is going to be a couple years long rebuild for the Dallas Wings, whereas the Aces are trying to get something new, some type of spark right now.
I get the move for both teams. I'm just surprised you went for a first round pick.
No, I think a first round pick is. I don't think picks are as valuable as people want to make them seem.
They're not,
especially in the W, because you can have a first round pick and you can decide not even to sign that person for the rest of the year just because they weren't performing. So all first round picks in the W are not the same, and a back end to the first round pick isn't a guaranteed lottery hit. Whereas NaLyssa Smith, you're like, okay, we're getting NaLyssa Smith, we're getting somebody that can average double digit points if you give her the opportunity. So yeah, I get it, and I'm fine with it. I've never been the picks person. I think that's been well known.
Well, the W
I've always been like, fuck them picks.
The W especially, if you actually look at previous drafts, the amount of people out of the league or out of their original team within 2 years of being drafted is actually insane. So keep that in mind too. Before we actually get into the game, I do see a comment asking us to talk about the expansion teams.
I was just about to go ahead and get into that.
You had some inside information about this a couple weeks ago, which you told me about.
Yes, I did. So there are, and I haven't seen this actually get out, so I'm probably breaking more information. And it seems like the bid didn't go their way, or if it did go their way, it's still yet to be announced. But there's a number of cities that have been bidding very, very heavily to go get a WNBA team. The WNBA just announced 3 more teams that will be announced, starting over the next 5 years. So you've got Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia. I don't remember which team is which year, but one team will debut in 2028, one team will debut in 2029, one team will debut in 2030. With that, there's a bunch of other cities that have applied. Nashville has applied, Houston, Miami, Charlotte, Baltimore. And so I think that now it's good to see. It's very, very good to see, because there's Julie Van Loo. Somebody talked about Julie Van Loo earlier in the comments. And so this is a perfect example. Julie Van Loo is now not on a team because Caitlin Shin balled her ass off while she was gone, and they decided to go that direction. Now, did my Valkyries. Could they have let her know before she flew back over? Possibly. But I mean, for all the people, like there's a large contingent of UConn faithful, Scott, and they were so upset that Caitlin Chen was not on the team. Like so upset. Then you have the South Carolina faithful that were so upset that Leticia Amirhe was not on the team. And so if those players are going to get on the team, somebody has to get cut. Like there's only so many amount of roster spots. And so it just happened to be Julie. And I mean, I didn't think it would be Julie. I probably would have took Julie over Caitlin Chen, even though she did play and she did hoop for those couple of games. But like they decided to go youth. And just like the Diamond DeShields thing up in Connecticut, where they let her go before the season, they decided to give the ball to Sanaya Rivers and the young talent up there. I'm not going to get mad at you for giving the young talent run and seeing what you have, because we know, even though Julie Van Loo is only a second-year player in the W, she's like 30-something because she played overseas in Belgium. We know what she is. And so I don't think she'll be on unemployed for long. I'm almost positive that the Mystics probably are looking for this trade so they can probably try to bring her back, because they could use another point guard, honestly. So Julie Van Loo's not going to be unemployed for long. I will say that. I don't think she's going to be unemployed for long. But, yeah. What is this? It's going to be a lot of expansion drafts. And I think the big thing, Scott, is just now GMs are going to have to GM. You're not going to have your team year to year. You're losing next year 2 players, which is why I think Toronto and Portland, especially Portland, because I have no idea what's going on over there right now. But I don't think those 2 teams are going to be nearly as good as the Valkyries, because now those 2 teams are poaching each other for players in the same expansion draft. And so next year, I think the 2 expansion teams are going to suck, and then we'll have conversations when we get there about the others. But it's going to be a lot of expansion, and things are going to be a lot of different. And GMs are really going to have to GM, because you've got your top 6, and that's effectively it. You're going to have to rebuild your bench every single year.
Yeah, I've made this comp in the past. I'll make it again. This is the MLS. If you actually pay attention a little bit to the American Soccer League, they ended up having a ton of expansion teams within the span of like 5-10 years. And now they ended up with a full 30. And you might remember when they had like 15 or 16, and suddenly they kept adding 2 teams per off season. That's where we're at right now. So I'm happy about it, of course. We get more games to talk about. We have more players that are not going to get hosed off rosters. Like Van Loo, for example, even if she doesn't have a great fit right now on the Valkyries, she's clearly a WNBA player.
Yep.
Erin McDonald, who just bounces around even though she's talented to different teams. It is definitely good that you'll be adding more landing spots for teams, because there are a lot of players in the league who are getting screwed over by the, I'd say, number of teams currently in the league. And I feel like if you add more players and you add more teams, you'll get yourselves a deeper overall league. That's the argument to make. So I'm happy about it, but for comparison, it's the MLS. You're adding new teams every year. It looks very weird, but 10 years down the road, when you have a full 30 in the league, suddenly it actually just looks very good. So it's going to be a work in progress, but once the expansions end, the league will be in a better place. So I'm happy about it.
Yep. Way more opportunity. Like the league was 144. That was it. 144 players for so long. And so now we're getting more. And I'm all for it. But yeah, Portland's doing Toronto a disservice, because Portland doesn't have anything going right now. And they are going to be in the same expansion draft as Toronto. So those are going to be some teams that you might want to look at the under on the win total. But the Valkyries, you've already lost if you took under 8.5.
Yeah. And you already won if you took 7.5 or 8.5. So.
Oh, man. But the haters, it's the haters for me. And I think I got to figure out what that first win total was at. But if they get past the first win total, I think it was at 12.5. If they get past the first win total too, oh, dude, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some real haters that thought they knew the W and said, "Oh, this is an expansion team. They're gonna suck." Joke's on you. As I sit with my Valkyries 20-1 ticket to make the playoffs.
I think it's now minus 135.
Is it really?
Yeah. I saw 135 yesterday. I don't know if it moved.
Valkyries. All right. This isn't a show about them, though. We've got the Commissioner's Cup final to talk about here. But first,
we have one game, so deal with it. We're just decided to talk for 20 minutes. It's fine.
Circa Millions and Circa Survivor. Do you think you know ball? Well, go hop into the Circa Millions football contest with $21 million in guaranteed prizes. There's no rake, so if the entries go above the guarantee, they're going to add that extra money into the prize pool. Circa Millions, you will pick 5 teams in the NFL to go ATS each week. And in Circa Survivor, you get 1 team, 1 sweat each week. And you can try to go out there and get into the Circa Grandissimo. What? How do you even say that?
Grandissimo.
To
be honest, no offense, it's $100,000 entry. Nobody here is actually entering that, so I don't think it actually.
Hey, Scott.
I said no offense.
You don't know what our listeners have. You have no idea what they have.
I'm just saying, if you had $100K to bet instead of entering a survivor pool, just bet the W instead. You can just make more money that way. Just throwing it out there.
You don't know. Somebody that might not be anything to one of our listeners. One of our listeners might be like a multi-millionaire where $100,000 is just like whatever.
So $100K enter for survivor.
Yes, right, they might be able. They might. We don't know. Somebody might have it like that.
That feels extremely negative EV. That's all I'm going to say. That feels like a very, very bold strategy. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Oh my gosh! All right, you must register in person at Circa Sportsbook in Nevada. So it's a good chance to get a free trip to Vegas. Go over there, register in person, or you can sign up in Nevada and play anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com. Use promo code SGP to get $50 off your proxy fee. We're also brought to you by MyBookie.ag, your place to bet every single sport, including the MLB, WNBA, golf, and your football futures. They accept a ton of customers from a whole bunch of different locations, so easy deposit and get lightning fast payouts with cryptocurrency. Head over to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms, conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Yes, it is $100,000 entry into the contest. It is.
I'm rooting for you if you enter it, but spoiler, I will not be entering that contest.
I mean, maybe Derek has a lot of, Derek is a multimillionaire, so he probably has a bunch of friends that is for. And that's
you can use the SGPN discount code to knock it down to 99.5. No, like I'm not entering that. They give you a hat though if you enter. So there you go. You get some like merch.
Yeah, you do. You get a hat if you enter any of the contests. I have wanted to do either Circa Millions or Circa Survivor, but I haven't gotten there yet.
I was offered to this past year.
Oh, really?
I actually almost flew down to Vegas to enter. Adam and I were considering shopping an entry. But to be honest, I really was not interested in putting up like $1,000 for a Survivor contest, so I just didn't do it. It's just not for me.
But it's like if we win, we're done. We are.
I mean, yes, there are also you can find a bunch of Survivor contests that are cheaper that still have massive prize pools. It's mostly just saying I entered Circa, I went to Vegas.
Yep,
that's kind of the appeal to it. But I don't know, it just wasn't really for me. But I could have went to Vegas. That was kind of the flaw of my logic there. I just missed out on a Vegas trip, but
I'll go back on a Vegas trip.
It's 100 degrees there. Like, it's fine. I'll go another time.
Oh, that's way too hot. It's hot. It's 100 degrees here in Virginia, so I know it's bad in Vegas.
I played tennis yesterday in like 90. It was not a fun time.
Oh, dear God. That's why I do indoor pickleball.
Are you a pickleball guy?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Really?
Yeah,
I played pickleball maybe 5 times in my life.
Oh, that's fun.
I really didn't know you were a pickleball guy. Okay.
Yep, I enjoy it. I really do. And it started on accident. So I got the little set and I went to go play. And I went to go play with my homeboy. And we were playing with each other. I TikTok the rules and I understood the game a little bit. So we were playing with each other. And then it was these 2 old ladies. And they said, "Hey, would you like to play doubles?" And we said, "Cool. Like, fine. It's a friendly game." When I say these 2 old ladies had us running from sideline to sideline, drenched in sweat. I'm talking about after the game, they got their cute little water bottle. Y'all ready for another one? And I'm over here like, and it's just because they knew how to play the game. And it's all
about angles.
They knew how to get the angles and they knew how to play the game and they made us run. Oh my God. It was so bad that at one point they said, maybe we should split up and you should go with one of us. And I was like, oh my God,
yeah.
they just gave us a sympathy. Oh, and at that point I was locked in. I said, I'm never going to let that happen again. It was really like, oh, dude, I'm talking about at least they were old.
My mom is very big into pickleball. She has like an actual like duper ranking, so she actually like plays in leagues and stuff. So occasionally I would like go with her to play, but I haven't gone in a while.
Oh yeah, she would have had me sideline to sideline. It was bad, man, and I was like, oh my God.
I don't think I'm that good. I've played 3 times, but the point is that I played a bit of tennis, so I'm kind of like in ping pong, so I can make it up on the fly.
Yeah.
So.
And because I had a little bit of a tennis background too, I was like, okay, I get it. But like, I just had to like change my thought of the game. Like I couldn't kill the ball, but like, I don't know. It was just like, no matter how I hit it, she always had the angle and was able to, I was just like, oh my God. It was a horrible experience that made me love the sport.
Yep.
All right, let's get into it. One game on the slate, Commissioner's Cup final. Minnesota Lynx are at home as the high seed here. Laying 6.5, opened up at 4.5, up against the Indiana Fever on the road. 164.5 is the total here. So tonight we still do not have an update on Caitlin Clark. She is still questionable to play. I will go ahead and read off of this trend that I realized, Scott. So when I looked at Underdog, I saw them say something very weird about Caitlin Clark's status yesterday. They said that she partially practiced. Have you ever heard that when they say, yeah, partially practiced on Monday?
I've heard it, but I don't know what that even means. Like if you show up for shoot around, does that count as part of practice?
Exactly. And so I was curious on how often partially practice was used by Underdog, because I follow Underdog. I've followed them for years. Company man, as some would say. And so I was like, how many times do they say partially? Well, I went and searched Underdog's X. They only said it 3 times, and they were all this year. And it was all in regards to the Fever. The first 2 times were Sophie Cunningham when she was working her way back from her ankle injury. And they said that she partially practiced on this day. Both of those 2 times that she partially practiced, she did not play in that game late the next day. And that's exactly the same time frame that Caitlin Clark is on, where she partially practiced yesterday, and we'll see if she plays today. So if they go on the same timeline that the Fever did and Steph White did with Sophie Cunningham, where she partially practiced but didn't log a full practice, you can make a pretty good inference that Caitlin Clark is not going to play because Sophie Cunningham didn't play in those 2 games. Not saying that that's going to happen. They're 2 different players. They may treat her differently, but I'm just saying here's the facts. That this season, there have been 2 instances where Sophie Cunningham partially practiced and she did not play in the game the following day. So let's see what happens with Caitlin Clark. I personally, Scott, don't think she's going to play. I think that they're going to save her, keep her warm, and hopefully make this a long game of trying to keep her right for the rest of the season. With that being said, even if she does play, that means that she's playing hurt and she's still not all the way there, and she's just muscling up trying to get the $500K for her teammates. And with that being said, I think it's still Lynx regardless.
I like the Lynx anyway.
The Lynx defense is too good. At home, they are effectively lights out. They've only allowed 80 points per game once this season, ironically, to the Dallas Wings. And I just don't think that the Indiana offense, where they've had a couple of good games on the road here against the Wings, against the Storm, who are actually both towards the bottom of the league in defense this year. And I think it's a different mindset going on the road in Minnesota to a rocking environment, a fan base that feels slighted, a team that feels slighted, another opportunity for them to just kind of stick it to the W yet again and showcase their dominance, because that's what they want to be. They want to be referred to as the best team in the league. And it's always been Liberty. It's been Liberty since that finals. It's been Liberty, Liberty, Liberty. That's all anybody's been talking about. And so I think that they're 100% locked into this game. I think offensively, they haven't missed a beat. They look really good offensively against the Atlanta Dream. They looked really good offensively against the Connecticut Sun in what was supposed to be a letdown spot or something like that for them. And they did what we thought and completely destroyed them. And so I think all of this is getting them ready for this moment, and they're about to just go out there and play some of the highest form of playoff basketball. And I just don't know if the Fever are going to be able to keep up, especially not defensively, because the Fever still have question marks defensively, and the Minnesota Lynx at home have been lights out. So I don't think the Fever are going to be able to score here. I really don't. And I think the Lynx are just going to be able to pull away from this game really comfortably. So I'm on the Minnesota Lynx. I think they're going to get it done.
Yeah, I'm on the Lynx anyway. The fact is, I remember in previous years when the Liberty were in it against the Lynx, they played it in Englewood. So it was a neutral court that wasn't actually the or maybe it wasn't Englewood. I'm trying to remember where they actually played it. What the hell's the name of the?
Wait, what'd you say? Oh, last year's Commissioner Cup.
Last year it was.
Oh yeah, it was somewhere like. It was.
I forgot the name though. It was by Belmont. I forgot the name. It was the Islanders Arena.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you said it was the old Islanders Arena. I didn't know where it was.
No, it was the new Islanders Arena.
Oh, it's the new one. Okay.
Okay, so my bad. It was Elmont. I said Englewood. The point is, it was in Elmont, so it wasn't actually a home game, but it was in the home state of the Liberty. This is actually a home game. So this is not going to be a neutral site like it has been in previous iterations. This is a home game for the Lynx, so I do think they'll look sharp. The Lynx have been very solid this season. ATS maybe not as much, but it's fine. It's a short spread. We mentioned the injuries before. I do think, though, with it being in the Lynx's home arena, I think the crowd's going to be very into it. It'll be into it anyway, but are the Fever good? Yes. Are they great? No. I think the Lynx are a great team. I see a tier difference between them. And we've also mentioned many times, since I got to mention it, since it is a road game, a true road game, the Fever on the road. I got to mention it for team total stuff. Mm-hmm. The Fever are on the road for this game. Yep. So I like the Lynx as well. What were you going to say? You had a reaction.
Oh, yeah.
Did your team hire Mike Brown or something?
No. That was me reacting to – hold on. That was me reacting to the Damian Lillard getting waived news. And that was the move that they needed to create the cap space to sign Miles Turner. So effectively, they waived Damian Lillard to sign Miles Turner.
You know what that means? It means that Lillard's Achilles is completely destroyed. That's what that means. Yeah. He's going to be out for the year anyway, but that's what that means.
Yeah, because they just took a dead cap hit of $22.5 million until 2030. So they will be paying $22.5 million of their cap is gone now until 2030 for doing this. I can't imagine. It would be gross. What's the word I'm looking for, Scott? Negligence.
Yeah.
If it was not a better reason, then he's not going to be any good when he comes back anymore.
Yeah. They think he's basically washed.
Yeah. It has to be, the Achilles injury has to be horrible. Because if it's not, you look dumb. This is $22.5 million every year for the past, for until 2030. This is like when Luol Deng was getting paid.
You know what that means, by the way?
What?
It means either Giannis is leaving or he's the most loyal player of all time. Because this team's going nowhere for a while. They got nothing. They have no draft picks either. This team's screwed.
Well, let's just go ahead and... Giannis, according to Chris Haynes, Giannis is not pleased with the Bucks' decision to waive Dave.
Yeah, no shit. They're paying Miles Turner $26 million a year. Of course he's pissed. I watch Miles Turner grab like 4 rebounds a game. Yeah, let's pay him $26-point-something million per season. Yeah, okay. I mean, what's Milwaukee supposed to do, though? I mean, you paid Middleton. You traded him away for Kuzma. That was awful. You traded for Lillard. He did nothing with you, and then he got injured. You signed Miles Turner, and a reminder, they extended the GM midway through the Pacers series in the first round. Yeah, this organization is in shambles. So I think Giannis will be on a new team at some point in the next few years.
Man. All right. Back to the game we're talking about here. Total, 164.5. Scott, give me the under. I don't think Indiana's going to do their part of scoring. I prefer Indiana team total under. I got it at 80.
That's why I brought up the road game angle, because it is a road game for Indiana.
Yep, 2-6 this season are the Indiana Fever to their team total on the road this season. They are coming off of 2 straight wins. However, they come against the Seattle Storm and the Dallas Wings, who rank, believe it or not, 9th and 10th respectively in the WNBA in terms of opponents' points per game. Seattle Storm actually have not been that defensive juggernaut that we've known them to be in years past. they've allowed a lot of scoring. They've just been able to do a lot of scoring on their own part. But now you're going up against the number one defense. And it's in their full strength. And I think that's the thing that's really concerning, is that they're at full strength here. Yes, Carly Samuelson is out, and I didn't mention that, but Carly Samuelson is out. But I mean, that doesn't really move the needle for me. But it's more of, now you have Jessica Shepard, who is such a very good rebounder and big for them coming off of the bench. So they can really dominate the big minutes off of the bench. And then all the starters are back. Like, this team is fully here. Nafisa Collier looks back from the injury, and she looks great. It's too much. And the only reason I'm afraid if this goes over is if the Lynx just absolutely just completely destroy them. I think that Indiana will have some pride as a defense and not let the Lynx go out there and score 95 points or something like that. But I just still don't think that the Fever are going to be able to do much to add to this total. And again, I got 80.5. It's at 79.5 right now. The Minnesota Lynx have only allowed one team to go over that at home this season. That was the Dallas Wings. So
that was not the team I would have guessed, by the way. That was not the team I had in mind.
It was the Dallas Wings. It was that second game, their first home game, I believe it was, actually. But it was the second time they played them already. And so the Wings squeaked over. And it was still Lynx for majority of the game, but they did let the Wings squeak over. But nobody else has been able to come to their to get to 80 points on them. So yeah, I like the team total under more for the Indiana Fever than the full game under. But if you have a gun in my head, of course, under 167.5.
Yeah, I'm with you. You see 167? I thought I saw 164.
I'm sorry, 164.5. I read the opening number, not the closing one.
Yeah, the line keeps dropping because I think people are expecting Caitlin to maybe not play. And on top of that, it is a championship game, quote unquote. So you might see
playoff atmosphere.
The problem is, in past years, the games have gone over. So that really hasn't mattered that much. So that might be misleading. But I don't know if Caitlin's going to play. You could argue that for the money aspect, for the $500K, maybe she tries to suit up to be a quote unquote good teammate. Because this game record wise doesn't count. It's solely for the money. So Caitlin maybe tries to play. I like her unders in the game because I don't think she's actually healthy at all. So I think it's pretty telling that for a game of this magnitude, in terms of salary, Caitlin is still not guaranteed to play, and she's half practicing, quarter practicing, whatever. She's clearly not right. So it might be a situation where people overreact to the injury news for her, when in reality, she has been really bad lately because she's playing through injury, and she might be trying to suck it up and play again. But against this team, defensively, with her being a pretty bad defender in the first place, if she's injured now, they're going to scheme her in every single defensive set. The Lynx are going to go at her if she plays. So I can see that being a problem for Indiana if Clark does play, which is why I do like the Lynx anyway. You know this. They have an elite coach. They are going to get Caitlin in every pick and roll, and they're going to torture the entire game. That's the approach.
It's better if she doesn't play. It really is. And I hate to say it, but I think it's better if she doesn't play, because if she's not there offensively, she's going to be a liability on defense.
And she's already not a great defender anyway, but this would make it worse.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Man, oh, man. Oh, let's see here. Player props?
Well, I said I liked Clark unders if she does end up playing. It's not my favorite option, but I think that there are some ways to go about it. 8.5 assists for Clark feels very high. I get the argument recently with her actual game log she's gone over, but the Lynx are an elite defense. She's gone under this in 3 games against the Lynx. They're allowing the second fewest assists per game in the league. And I said before, Clark either is banged up or maybe she gets a minute restriction. We'll see what happens. But doesn't that number feel really high? If you want to go for PRA under, the all-encompassing fade, I think Clark will be a very, very popular pick to have a great game when we know she's severely compromised against an elite defense. And she's been really bad lately. I don't mind the under PRA for Clark.
All right.
For reference, 41.5.
Nafisa Collier was plus money to be top point scorer last night. That's down to minus 135. We have she was at 22.5 points last night as well. She is now still at 22.5, but it's minus 130. So still like Fee to go over the points prop here. Think that she can have a very good day offensively. I mean, this is exactly what she does. There's nothing else new there. I like Courtney Williams over 9.5 RA. That's still a really good play. It's back down to 9.5. She's been very, very good against Indiana Fever. And we know the Indiana Fever are going to chuck up threes, create in long rebounds. She's a very good rebounder from the ball, from the guard position. And then Courtney Williams and Nafisa Collier pick and roll has been great all year. I am tempted on the Bridget Carlton threes angle because she had the huge game last year in the Commissioner's Cup final. Very, very tempted by that. Taking Bridget Carlton on her threes. Anything else that's interesting to me? I don't think so.
I mean, I think Fee is a monster game, so if you want to avoid the most points, you can get her 22.5 points at minus 130. Basically the same price. If she's going to go over for the points, she will lead the game in points. I'd rather just take the points number, honestly, instead of sweating out if anybody on the Fever, Aaliyah Boston has a monster game, etc. Kelsey Mitchell. I'd rather just take the points. So I'll go with the, once again, Nafisa regular points at 22.5. Basically the same price. Do I want to go for her rebounds as well? But do I think Fee puts on a masterclass game? It's possible. Her rebounds are 9.5. They have not been good lately. So I think I'll pass on the rebounds. But the assists are a 3.5. I can be talked into that. She has had at least 4 assists in 7 of the last 9 games. That could be interesting. That's something I could consider, but I just think Fee points is the way to go.
Yep. All right. What else? Who else is anybody else interesting? I don't know. I'm not interested in really anything. Maybe Kelsey Mitchell still has a good day because she's just been on fire and nobody's been able to stop her. But that could also be the level of competition that she's played in the last 4 games, because there's a difference between playing Dallas, Sparks, Storm, Aces, and then playing Minnesota.
Yeah.
But she's had good games against Minnesota. Last 3 games against Minnesota, she's been over 21, 21, 23. However, I don't know. I don't feel good about it just because I feel like now you game plan. Like, this is the game plan. Don't let Kelsey Mitchell kill us. I think this is an all-encompassing good defensive effort here by the Minnesota Lynx. So it makes me very wary of Indiana Fever props here today.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, when Caitlin has an injury and she might potentially not play, it's pretty tough to go for props on them because she impacts so much of what they want to do offensively that it's pretty difficult to try to predict. We both think that she might not play.
Mm-hmm.
I think if she does, she's not going to do anything out there. So I'm not really interested in taking Fever players.
Yeah. Lexi Hall under is pretty all right. I mean, she's just it's weird. She could have okay, and she doesn't even have to have a good game to get over her prop. I think that's the only thing about Lexi Hall that I don't care about. Like, she doesn't have to have a good game to get over her prop. Offensively, I think she's very streaky of a player and not really that good, to be honest. Very good defender, but offensively it's just not there. So yeah, it would be under or pass, but like, I don't even want to play under 7.5 with her because she doesn't have to have a good game to get over 7.5 points.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right.
Do you want to make a case for Alana or a case for Courtney, or don't even bother?
I mean, Courtney, I do like. I like her RA, and I like the points too. Like, I'm fine with that. I think the only person on Indiana that I would probably make a case for is Natasha Howard. I think that's the only person, and that's just because Natasha Howard doesn't need anybody else to go get a bucket. Like Lexi Hall, Aaliyah Boston, of course not Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell can go get a bucket on her own, but like, all these other options need good play from other players for them to be able to score. Natasha Howard and Kelsey Mitchell don't need that. They just got to go out there and do it. And so I would feel okay about taking one of those 2 players just because it's up to them. Like, they can choose if they want to go off and have a good game. They're not predicated on Caitlin Clark playing or not playing to have a good game here. So Maybe a flyer on a Kelsey Mitchell or Natasha Howard. And I was right on the Natasha Howard play last time Scott talked about it. She got over 11.5 against Dallas in the revenge game. Shout out to her. All right. Other than that, that's it for me.
Yeah, I'm done too.
Oh, and the fee assist. Run the fee assist play back. Yeah. That's really good.
3.5, I just thought was too low for her.
All right. We will get to lock, dog, underdog, all of that in just a second. But first, I got to talk about Underdog Fantasy. $15 million in prizes for this season, and you just got to get into the best ball mania. Go get into a best ball draft, and just start drafting your team. There's no arguments about trades. There's no arguments about trades. No waiver wire. Best way to play every single week of fantasy football by just not doing anything. You already did it by drafting your team. So go do that. $2 million to first place, but you don't have to be worried about that because me and Scott are going to win first place. So go get some of that other $15 million, but that $2 million, that's for us. Go sign up. NBA SGPN for your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code NBA SGPN. Scott, do you think anybody said, oh, wow, he's so certain that they're going to win, I'm going to go join a draft and make sure they don't? It would be very, very good if they did, because that means, once again, I am a company man, and it worked.
Yeah.
Power trends over there at Rhythm. Make sure you lock into them. They are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model have consistently won and has a high ROI. Power trends are updated daily, and they're exclusive to Rhythm. So no touts, no noise, just clean data, bets. Download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. So head over there, 7-day free trial, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Single game, lock, dog, underdog picks here. For the lock, I already have gotten down on a number of plays in this game, Scott. And a number of plays where I'm trying not to double up because it's not good luck. But I do have Indiana team total under in my back pocket. I already do have a fee play in my pocket. I already do have a Courtney Williams play in my pocket. So here, lock, Minnesota -6.5. I think they're better, and I think they're going to get it done. And this Indiana team without Caitlin Clark is actually a tier below, and so there's a whole tier. There's a tier gap between them. Like, of course, I have Minnesota in the first tier, Indiana in the second tier, but when Indiana doesn't have Clark, I have them in the third tier, which is a fringe playoff team. And I think in this environment, it's going to be a high level of defense that the Minnesota Lynx are going to play with them against. And I think the Lynx offense, whether it be in the first half or whether it be in the second half, is going to have enough firepower where they're going to be able to push through and make this a pretty comfortable lead here. So I'm all locked into the Minnesota Lynx getting this done, especially because I think if Caitlin Clark plays, she's compromised. And if she doesn't play, well, she doesn't play. But either way, I don't think we see 100% Caitlin Clark here, regardless. So, Minnesota Lynx, -6.5. Lock. Dog is going to be, let's see, what plus money numbers can I get on Nafisa Collier here today? I can go for, 25 plus points is only plus 110 now. That's not good. Let's see here. I can go 5 assists for plus 170 for fee and say that she has a heavy assist day again, which she's been really, really good with. So plus 170 doesn't sound bad. Or I could just go completely off the reservation and say Bridget has another masterclass or another random masterclass here in the Commissioner's Cup game.
She really almost won MVP.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it doesn't take much. Like, if Bridget did half of what she did last year, we could cash a pretty decent bet. So I'm kind of tempted to go off the reservation here and just say Bridget has another Commissioner's Cup masterclass game.
And just to be clear, by the way, this is not like hockey where the playoff MVP is the entire playoffs. This is only for this game.
Yes.
So being good in the group stage means absolutely nothing.
Yes.
Just keep that in mind.
Yes, they're only considering how she played for that one game. So if somebody just has, so if this is the Caleb McBride game, because we haven't talked about a Caleb McBride game where she's kind of carried the team instead of Nafisa, but Caleb McBride's had some very, very good games. If Caleb McBride goes out here and has a 25, 30-point game, she's winning MVP. And maybe that needs to go into the MVP discussion. Scott, have you seen Commissioner Cup MVP odds, actually?
I have not.
Interesting.
We might have been able to get them like in the group stage, but I don't see any now.
Bridget has had a 14-point game recently, and she's had an 11-point game recently. Okay. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go off the reservation because I just need some other action on somebody else. Give me Bridget Carlton. I'm going to just do 10. I could do 12 at plus 270, but I'm going to just do 10 because it gets me over the threshold. Plus 145, 10 plus points, Bridget Carlton in the Commissioner's Cup game.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Lynx on the spread as my lock. 4.5. Not going to overthink it. It's a home game for Minnesota. Fever bad on the road, and Clark's injured. So, yeah, that checks a lot of boxes for what I'm looking for. Give me the Lynx minus 4.5 as my lock at minus 110. For my dog, did I want to go for an alt line on Caitlin as a fade? Unfortunately, I don't see enough alt lines available for the
No, because what if it voids? Then you don't have a dog.
That's true. Yeah, it's a good point. Okay, fair enough. I could go. I mean, I don't know if I want to do a spread for both the lock and the dog. I'll just take an alt line on the Lynx. But what do I want to go with here? By the way, do you see 4.5 or 6.5 as a spread now?
It's 6.5.
It is 6.5. Okay, so I'll fix that. Give me the Lynx minus 6.5 as my lock at minus 110. Same play, but I don't want to take a number that doesn't exist anymore. So I'll take that as my lock. For my dog, it's probably going to be a player performance double if I had to go for something. Yeah, I can't do the halftime, full-time, top point score. Okay, you know what? I'll go with something a bit different. I'll pick the Fee Masterclass game. Give me Fee to score 3+ points in every quarter at plus 165. Why not? Plus 165.
I mean, why not?
There's a lot of money on the line. She's going to play a lot of minutes.
Only 3?
3+ in every quarter. Plus 165. That's on FanDuel, by the way.
Why would she have a 2-point quarter? I don't. Yeah.
Well, the question would be minutes. If there's one quarter where she plays like 5 minutes, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah.
That's my dog.
Okay. I like it. Not bad, Scott. Wow. We're just breaking news left, right, up and down here. Let's see here. The Nuggets have completed a trade where they've traded Dario Saric to the Kings to get Jonas Valanciunas. So they now have a backup big. The Nuggets have quietly had the best offseason out of anybody.
I have been a big fan of their offseason. So
they are probably back into the title picture.
Yeah, I agree.
They have a backup big. They brought Bruce Brown back as long as he's healthy. And then they made an amazing trade for Cam Johnson. I mean, an amazing upgrade. I mean, light years upgrade of Cam Johnson over Michael Porter Jr. Yeah, the Nuggets. I hate to say it, but
they also saved about $17 million with that Cam Johnson trade.
Oh yeah, the Nuggets are having a great offseason right now. I will admit that. So
you said backup center, by the way. Is DeAndre done?
He should be. I mean, why do you need him now?
I was saying he was there as the good locker room guy, and now Valanciunas is also a good locker room guy, but he's also Serbian. So you have a national connection there with Joker. So I'm wondering if they let DeAndre walk or if he comes back to, I don't even know.
I mean, if he comes back, I'm talking about he's in full James Johnson. Full James Johnson, Udonis Haslem here, if he does. But this is a very, very good offseason, I think, for the Denver Nuggets. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Denver, as of right now, if they just go on a run during the regular season and look really, really good. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. It's got to be. It depends on Bruce Brown, and if Bruce Brown is healthy. Let's see. Yeah, I think Cam Johnson is way better than Michael Porter Jr. What? It's not even a question. That's not even a question. 10 times out of 10. I think he's so much better than Michael Porter Jr. But I'm also not heavy on Michael Porter Jr., so, hey.
I mean, I hate Michael Porter Jr., but the Nets did it for the draft pick. So I think it was a trade that made sense for both teams.
Yeah. All right. Dude, I mean, every time I try to get to this, it's another breaking news. We chose a great time to record the show today. Leone Fibic is set active by the New York Liberty.
Nice. Welcome back. We need you.
Reinforcements are here. Maybe we can guard somebody on the perimeter now. All right. Underdog fantasy, Scott. Well, fee, of course.
Yeah.
0.91 for 22.5. Can we do 20? Can we do 26.5 points and assists instead of 22.5 points? There we go. I just wanted to get a solid number instead of the 0.91. And I feel good about the assists. She's been really, really good with that. All right. So we got fee there higher. I do like the Courtney Williams play. Kayla McBride, I wouldn't mind. I'm fine with it. Natasha Howard interests me. And of course, Bridget interests me as well. So what are you thinking?
Well, Kaylin's going to be tricky because we don't know if she's going to play or not. So we can't take her.
No.
You said you liked Courtney. So do you want to go with Courtney?
Courtney, Bridget, Natasha, and Kayla. Those are all the options that I...
Okay, so we'll do Courtney.
Okay. Courtney Williams.
I'll let you pick the prop. Because I thought about PRA just to go for everything, but...
I'm fine with PRA. I haven't played that one yet, and I'm fine. And again, Courtney Williams is about the bag. So I'm sure she'll be locked in and hitting those mid-range shots now. Do we take the stab with Natasha Howard again, who's been really good? Or do we just go all Lynx? Do we go all Lynx?
Is there anybody on the fever that you want to fade?
That I want to fade?
Yeah.
The only fade is running back Aaliyah Boston and just telling Aaliyah Boston to prove it to me that she could do it twice in a row.
You want to go for that?
Because she did have the big game, and that's where we lost the underdog lineup last time. She had the big game, but prove to me you could do it twice in a row without Caitlin.
You want to run it back? Because I'll do that.
I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine. All right. Points and rebounds. 23.5.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got... Yeah, because prove it to me that you could do it again without Caitlin. Because, again, that was the Dallas Wings, and we knew not to play around with it. Playing around with unders and the wings is just not good. Just not good. So, Aaliyah Boston, lower, 23.5 points and rebounds. Courtney Williams, higher, 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And Afisa Collier, higher, 26.5 points and assists. Add that all in underdog, shake it up, and you're going to get 6.36x, Scott. The lower on Aaliyah Boston was a little spicy. $100 gets you $636 over there at Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN. Scott, anything else for people before we get up out of here?
No. Once again, fun episode. Went a bit long because we had a lot to talk about non-WNBA stuff. It should be fun. Looking forward to the game. Looking forward to the rest of the season. And, of course, I did a draft episode on the NBA show with Falante yesterday. We will be doing a free agency episode at some point just to recap all the moves. I'm not sure when we're going to do that, but we will be doing that at some point. So.
All right. With that, he's at Reichel Radio. I'm at really real __. Make sure you give us a follow. Scott, I have a 30% tennis boost that I need to use.
You should have told me because I hit a parlay with that exact boost this morning. So you should have told me that. Sorry.
You should have just told me. If you knew you had the boost, you knew I had the boost. And so you should have just offered that. Hey, I realized we had
It's my fault not for not assuming that you had the boost too, but for assuming that you weren't totally locked in on your tennis boosts. That's my fault.
Yes, I am 100% locked in on my tennis boost. I like to use all boosts that I get. And so
I think it was plus 570 something, but I ended up
stop. Yeah. You don't have to talk about it anymore. You don't have to share the wins that I didn't get to join in on.
Sorry.
But with that, I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just gonna like this. Dolphins traded for Darren Waller from the Giants. We're out of here.